great day. Cup of the Word. We're in Psalm 99. Now, Psalm 99 is a psalm that is a call to worship. Come and worship God. And it was one that used a great deal of strong Jewish imagery. And so as we look at it, what kind of throws you on it is a lot of the language that makes a lot more sense if you have a real strong hold on Old Testament language. It makes a lot more sense, but if you don't have that, it can kind of feel like, oh, I don't quite get this. So let's talk about that just a little bit so you have a better understanding of it. The overall point is come worship God, He's holy. And the call is to come worship Him at the temple. And so it talks about God being the one who dwells where the cherubim are. And that cherubim that's referred to as the ark that sat in the Holy of Holies of the temple had a mercy seat on it with two cherubim above it. And that was where God met with the people. So the idea is if He's the God who dwells where the cherubim are, go to where the cherubim are. Go to the temple and worship Him. Talks about God on His holy hill. That's talking about Mount Zion, where the temple sat. Or go and worship Him at His footstool. Well, if you look back in Chronicles, when Solomon built the temple, he referred to it as the footstool of God. Basically, it's like this is where God puts His feet. He lives in heaven, but He touches earth here, and so we should pray facing towards it. And it talks about Him being the God of Aaron and Moses and Samuel and these great Old Testament prophets and how they had worshiped God. And certainly when you look at Aaron, he was a high priest, or Moses, he was the guy who told them to build the tabernacle in the first place. So there's this constant call to go back and worship, but it uses this strong Jewish imagery to point out, if you were a Jew back then, go to the temple and don't neglect your responsibility to go there and make sacrifices to God. If a Jew had a responsibility to worship God and to not neglect it, how much more so do we as Christians have that responsibility to bring our worship to God, having a far greater covenant? And also, frankly, it's so much easier for us to do it. We don't have to go to the temple. God says that He wants us to worship Him in all places. That's your Daily Cup, and we'll see you tomorrow.